What's going on, you guys? This is PokeHobs. I'm Jay, and in today's video, we are gonna take a look at the auction and the sale that took place last night of the Illustrator Pikachu card. It's noteworthy. It's by far the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold. So let's just take a look at it. Now, before we jump into today's video, I do want to say two things. One, I am not an expert on vintage Pokemon cards, and two, I am not a Logan Paul expert either. So I know that he has a huge fan base. He's like a high profile celebrity. I don't care one way or the other. So I'm neutral as far as that goes. But I do want to take a look at the sale of this card because it's nuts, you guys. So Logan picked this card up in 2021, so 5 years ago. He had a PSA 9 version of his own in his possession, which he traded for this PSA 10 plus $4 million in cash on top of that. So that was crazy because at the time that set Guinness Book of World Records for the highest price card ever sold. So that transpired 5 years ago. Now, a little bit of a backstory on this particular card. There's estimated to be around 40 copies of this Illustrator Pikachu in existence. It was given out in a contest in the late 90s. And as far as PSA 10 goes, there's only one PSA 10 in existence, which is the card that we're discussing today. So Logan, after he acquired this card, he had a custom necklace designed for it. It's like diamond encrusted. I'm sure you guys have all seen it a million times. I'll put a picture of it up for you guys. It's very flashy. It's a crazy looking necklace. I don't know. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I don't wear my cards around my neck. Maybe I would though. I don't know if I had one that was worth millions and millions of dollars. But if you guys watch the King of Collectibles, so that's Ken Goldin's show of Goldin Auctions. On season 3, earlier this year, he had Logan on the show and he asked him to bring the card. So in this episode, Ken he's doing his salesman thing, and he's trying to get Logan to list the card in this auction that just happened this February. It was like the biggest Pokemon auction of all time. He talks him into it. He gave him like a couple $1 million retainer, like up front, just to hold the card. And there was a platform, it's Poly something, where people could place bets on what they thought that this card would end up selling for. And even like yesterday, I was kind of going back and forth with a couple of my buddies, and we were trying to guess what the ending price tag would be at the end of the auction. And all of us, I will say this, we're huge nerds, and we were all way off. This card ended up selling for a lot higher than I think any of us expected. And yeah, last night it concluded the auction. So it went on through February, and there was a lot of other Pokemon cards in the auction as well. This one is it's like dubbed the Holy Grail of Pokemon cards. And obviously that's what like the spotlight was really on the whole time. But the whole thing, I did tune in and I watched the ending and conclusion of this auction live last night. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was way too long. But yeah, I jumped in towards the end. It was like 11:30 Central Time. And they had like this big gong, and they kept just banging it every time a new bid would come in. And towards the end is when you really saw it like starting to spike heavily. And a bunch of champagne, bunch of confetti every time a bid would come in. It was a pretty crazy scene. They were doing a box break of first edition base set the entire time, where there were like some people in the crowd that bought, a various amount of packs, and a couple Mewtwo's were pulled, a couple of Blastoises. There were a couple of Chanseys, and they even had an expert, I guess, on the show, and they were saying that it's not really known, but I guess that Chansey has a super low pop in a PSA 10. So if you get that PSA 10 grade on the first edition Chansey, I guess it fetches today upwards of $300,000. I don't know for sure if that's true or not. What I do know is, as an 8-year-old in 1998, Chansey was literally like my least favorite Pokemon card. So I couldn't really care less one way or the other. But it was cool for the people that bought into those packs. They seemed to be having a good time. But again, no one got the Charizard. A bunch of people got the Red Cheeks Pikachu, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, back to this card. So there was all the side bets going on, and I'm pretty sure that very few amount of people actually won money, because again, this card ended up selling for just under $16.5 million at the end. And that's just freakish heights. Now, there is some speculation around this card that I've heard. Again, I'm not the expert. I don't want to, I'm not here to like kiss anyone's ass, but I'm also not here to drag anybody down. So I'll just touch on it real quick. So the speculation around this card, there's a lot of rumors floating around on the internet that it's not a true PSA 10. Apparently, people that have seen it or certain pictures online, they're saying it's too off-centered to be a true PSA 10. And then the other thing that I've seen is that after this auction went live, I guess they had the card re-slabbed. So re-slabbing a Pokemon card, it is a service that PSA offers. I guess where some people had an issue with it was that they decided to have it re-slabbed after the auction started. One of my boys in the hobby was saying, you know, there's rumors that they had the card cleaned. I can't say for sure. Again, I'm not the expert. I don't know one way or the other. What I do know is it didn't stop a lot of elite rich people from bidding on this damn thing. Because again, it went for like 16.5 mil, which is crazy. Now, was that all because of the card, or does Logan Paul play a big part in that because he is a high profile celebrity? He wore it during his WWE debut. It probably does have the potential to manipulate a card, definitely, if we're being honest. But fact of the matter is, a world record was set last night, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal for Pokemon collectors and investors. Ken Goldin kept saying it, and a couple of the OGs in the hobby that I talk to every day were telling me it is a big deal, because with this world record, it sets a new height to what Pokemon cards can be viewed as far as their values go. And let's just, you know, if we're being creative here, thinking outside the box, what if someday Pokemon decides to start doing serialized cards? Imagine one-of-one Pikachus, or one-of-one Charizards, or Mewtwo's, or whatever, Umbreons. Imagine the dollar amounts, you guys. So it does raise the bar, and it does change things. So my buddy, Pokepasoda, if you guys don't follow him on YouTube already, I recommend checking him out. He follows the market really closely, and this dude's been collecting a long time, and he really knows his stuff. But yeah, he was saying when there's big sales like this, yeah, it affects the rest of the market. And in this case, it was in a good way. He was like, check your collector app. So I did. And since last night, it's gone up like $600. I recommend you check your collector app as well this morning. But yeah, that sums up about as much as I know about the sale of this Illustrator Pikachu. Again, I'm not the expert, but I thought it was video worthy because it set a world record in a hobby that I'm heavily invested into and that I love very much. So let me know in the comments below. Maybe you have some more insight on the whole situation than I do. Again, I'm over here and I'm focusing on like set lists and what do I want to invest in now as far as sets that are, you know, from like Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, Mega Evolution. So that's really where my head's at. At the end of the day, this doesn't affect any of us all that much, I wouldn't think. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, you guys. Until next time, peace.